Good afternoon. Another day, another beautiful day. Very nice. Today we are working on motorhome here again. So the engine was replaced, rebuilt, I guess not replaced. We rebuilt the engine down in New Mexico. Since then I've noticed the harmonic balancer, which is on the front of the crankshaft, is just vibrating a little bit. So I'll show you what the new one looks like. This is a puller on here. I'll take that off a minute. Alright, so that's a harmonic balancer. And it goes on front of the crankshaft, and there's rubber in here. And it's supposed to take some of the shock out of it. So the fact that mine is vibrating is mostly likely that there's rubber in here that's letting go. And I don't want that to come apart while I'm driving down the road. So I figured now is the good time to do it. I borrowed a puller from my brother-in-law. I'm also going to put a new belt on because it squeaks. Thing is that I got to take all this stuff back out. So this is the rad for the AC, and then you get the radiator for the water back there. Got to remove all that so that I can get at the fan behind this, and then the fan is stuck to a like a bell pulley, and that pulley is bolted to this. So once I get all that out of the way, then I'll be able to pull the old one off, slide the new one on, and put everything back. Not sure how long it's going to take yet. Hopefully it comes off really easily. We put it on not that long ago when we rebuilt the engine. At that time we should have just bought a new one, I guess. Saved me the grief, but such is life. We're getting things ready to go here. Put the new awning on yesterday. Gonna put this on now. What else did I want to do? Maybe look into the fuel pump yet. It seems to be taking a while to get started. And I wonder if the fuel pump's just getting weak. So maybe we might do that as well. And then, yeah, possibly hit the road again for a bit. Okay, we're getting her pulled apart. Wes is going to cram in there. The beauty of being a little guy, you could fit in some interesting places. We've got the rad tipped out, just kind of took one side off, bent it out. We might not have to take that fan off, but I think it's going to be easier, so we're probably going to unbolt it. We've got to we're going to replace the belt, and the part we need is actually below the fan. I keep messing that up, but we need to be, can you turn it a little more, bud? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Right there. You see the one with the holes in it, the dots? That is the harmonic balancer, and then there's a bell pulley in front of that. That bell pulley is what we got to pull off, and then we can slide the harmonic balancer off.
Yep, you can just give me a second.
Turn the videotape. Okay, we got her down now. So that is now the harmonic balancer that's left right there. So now next stage is we're going to try to pull that off with the puller. Alright, new day. Same project. We were working on the harmonic balancer the other day. This is my old one that is out. And you can see it's the same size shaft all the way through. I don't know if you can make that out. It's the same. The new one though, you can see it's stepped. I don't know if you can make that out. It's not the same. So the other one has an indentation here that's about 5/8 deep, and it's wider. Now the problem with that is that this goes on the front of it and bolts onto these bolts. Bolt holes there. It actually sits in there. It's got a little flange that sticks out, and that flange fits perfectly in here, so it keeps it from flopping around. The other one has a bigger hole, so it would flop around. And now you could say, well, that doesn't really matter because we're still going to bolt it in. That's true, but then you're relying solely on the bolts, and I like having the center stuck as well as the bolts. So what I'm thinking we've got the wrong harmonic balancer. This is for this type of engine. There must be more than one option for it. The other option is that we need a new, like maybe they made an upgrade. Maybe there's a new version now. Maybe there was a flaw with the old one. I don't know. That's a possibility. But then I think we need a new bell pulley for the front of it because it doesn't quite line up in there. So I did call him up this morning, said what's going on here, this and this and this, and he's going to look into it. I'm kind of hoping we just have the wrong harmonic balancer. We pull this one back off, send it back, get a new one, put it on. Then I can use this this bell pulley and everything will be just the way it was. I like just put it back the way it was, and then it should be good. But I gotta wait to hear back from this guy before I can finish this project, unfortunately. Well, for now, it's just gonna stay open and exposed here. The weather's nice. I heard anything to leave it like that. We will find a few other projects. The only other problem, I guess, I'm borrowing this puller from my brother-in-law here, and you know, I don't know, he might need it back. He might need it back again. I don't want to just kind of leave it here forever. So hopefully we'll hear something here shortly. Then I can go to town and either get another harmonic balancer or get whatever solution they find to my issue here, and then I can bring this part back as well, or this tool back. So that's where that project's at. I don't know what else we've got cooked up right now. The other day we were up on the roof here. They had some issues. It was well, it's been up here for a long time, but it was leaking around this chimney here and there. And so we got these boots put on. Wes and I installed this rubber boot on the bottom here, siliconed it all in, and there's one up there too. You can't see that one, but maybe you can see the top end of it just. But we put those on so that it doesn't leak anymore. Little things like that, and the kids are stacking firewood here. Got all this stacked up the other day, and yeah, just doing some yard cleanup, different things. They put up some decorations here for fall. Now they're helping getting some of this stuff set up here. They painted some stuff. Wes fixed the railing here on the house, and Cora painted it all up yesterday. So yeah, little things like that. In the house, of course, I think there's video of that, I'm not sure. Did some renovations there as well. One bathroom ceiling we fixed up, and I got it all painted. And then also in the kitchen, we surprised them by painting kitchen walls. So that was pretty neat to see. We had discussed the paint colors, so we had an idea what color she wanted, but didn't actually say we were going to do it. So she was thoroughly surprised when she seen how that worked, or how that went. So yeah, keeping ourselves occupied. We're just about getting ready to hit the road here again shortly. We're still waiting for some paperwork. Turns out some of the stuff we sent away was done wrong, and has to be resent away, and we'll be waiting. And the wait time apparently is longer now. I don't know why that is. It used to be 15 days. Now it looks like it might be up to 50 days. So we will probably go find something to do in the meantime. And yeah, maybe there'll be some more videos coming for you guys. I don't feel that old yet, but I must be getting old, because my oldest daughter is turning gray. Cora's going gray already. Isn't that crazy? How come you're going so gray?
I just touched something.
You look like an old lady. Cora's painting this chair here, doing a marvelous job. Wearing Grandpa's shirt and I don't know whose pants. But that's all good. So you painted all these? Missed that one, I guess. You painted two of them? Oh, you painted that one too. It's gonna look nice. Good job. Even painting the grass. Very nice. My old harmonic balancer has this same size shaft all the way through. Okay, it's not stepped. This has a little flange on it. The flange fits snug in that hole, and then you bolt it on. Okay, yes, that's actually a decent sized flange on that, I guess. The new harmonic balancer is stepped. I don't know if you can tell that. It's a much bigger hole, and it's stepped like that, meaning that bell pulley, this bell pulley, is going to be sloppy in there. When I put it on, it's going to be able to move around, and the only thing that's going to hold it is the 3 bolts. Well, hello. So unfortunately, this harmonic balancer business is not turning out to be that easy. The right one, the one with the exact same part number, I can only find one place. That's Workhorse. So Chevrolet used to make the P30 chassis up until 98, then Workhorse took over in 99. And so Workhorse is the only place where I can find these parts. Chevy doesn't carry them, nobody seems to carry them. And the harmonic balancer that I got, as I showed in that video, it's got that indentation which won't quite work. So I returned it again. Also, the bolt holes are wrong. It's not even the right threads. I tried to find other threads or other bolts for it, and the local guys couldn't figure out what threads it was. So I don't know why that is, but in any case, I returned it, and I'm going to put the old one back on. But the main center bolt that holds the harmonic balancer onto the crankshaft was slightly stripped, and with that new harmonic balancer being different, we actually shortened the bolt. So now I need to find a longer one again, and I can't find a bolt for it. I've been to multiple different places where they sell bolts, and I cannot get a bolt. I'm gonna try a wrecking yard yet and see if I can get one from a, you know, like an auto wrecking place. They can pull one out for me. So I'm gonna try that next. Other than that, yeah, I'm gonna put the old one back on. Shipping was crazy to get that part from Workhorse up here. There is I was gonna say a knockoff. It's not a knockoff. There is an aftermarket part that looks similar, but I'm kind of worried. The pictures they show online only show two sides. They show the back side and they show the one edge, but they don't show the front face that would let me know whether it has an indentation in it or not. And I don't want to order it up here and have that problem. The local guys, it would take, I think they said 5 or 6 days to order it here. I did find online I could order it, it'd be 2 days it would be here through Rock Auto. Trouble with Rock Auto, people keep telling me that if it is wrong, good luck ever returning it. They're really hard to deal with as far as returns. So I didn't really want to do that either. It's almost a $200 part. So I think what we're going to do is put the old one back on, and I'll drive down to the States. Workhorse will ship it to me anywhere in the USA for 12 bucks US. Versus shipping it here in a decent amount of time was going to cost me almost $300 because of international shipping. So we'll go back down to the States. We're talking about doing that anyway. We'll grab a campground. I'll have the parts shipped there. The only problem is that I have everything apart now. It's easy to get at. I have to reinstall all the radiators and all that stuff, and then we'll have to take that all apart again down there, which is kind of a pain, but anyway, it is what it is. So that's the up and up on that. I am picking up a few other things right now. I'm looking for a cargo carrier for the back of the motorhome so we can put the generator on. Having the generator in the side compartment was not working out for us at all. The generator that I had bought brand new a while back before we headed to the States, it ended up frying a circuit board. It's now repaired, and so I'm going to get it back, but I'm going to put it on the back of the motorhome on a cargo carrier instead of in that compartment. And then it should read better. It's got a CO2 alarm in it, so anytime it smells a bit of smoke, it shuts off. And that's why it wasn't working properly in there. As you can hear, I got a bit of a frog in my throat. Whatever was going on in my sinuses ended up working its way down. It was running like crazy yesterday, just constantly blowing my nose, and now it's working down and it's in my throat. So hopefully another day or so and it'll be better. Cora got it first, and she's better again, so I'm hoping I will be soon too. Other than that, what are we doing? A few groceries running around, and yeah, just trying to find that bolt, which has been a bit of a hassle. If all goes well, I'm hoping I can slip the old harmonic balancer back on again today and get everything put back together before the weekend. There's a little bit of driving around I wanted to do in this area. A good friend of mine, Mike, just moved to this area actually, and I'd really like to check out his new farm. They got sheep there, so I'd love to check that out. Maybe videotape a little bit if it'll let me. And what else? Somebody else we wanted to visit up here. Anyway, yeah, bit of stuff to do. So right now we get this little car to use here from my mother-in-law, but obviously the whole family doesn't fit in here. And I got these two noise boxes with me. Noisy guys. This big helper, buddy?
Yeah.
You got your tape hooked up. Did you hook that on there?
Yeah.
You did? Yeah, good helper. I suppose I best update you guys before the project's done. So I spent a good chunk of the day looking for that silly bolt. Couldn't find it anywhere. I finally am getting the measurements of the bolt, the threads, and the type of bolt, basically. And with that information, I ended up getting a bolt from Home Depot. So it's not as hard as the bolt that we're looking for, and it doesn't have the same... Well, I'll show it to you here in a minute. Okay, so that's the two bolts. The black one being the proper one, and the gray one being what I got at Home Depot. Now, this one here is too short. We cut a 1/2 inch off, so the gray one is the right length. Strange part is, I guess when the guy put it on, the mechanic there in New Mexico put it on, he must have stripped some of the threads out, because I don't have enough threads on the beginning ones. And this bolt was also partially stripped. But the strange part is that the hole in the crankshaft is actually a lot deeper. And we checked that with a screwdriver, sticking it in and measuring it. Because when I stuck this bolt in, it wouldn't grab. Even though it was the same length as this one, it just wouldn't grab well enough. So I went back to Home Depot last night again, and I got a longer one. So this is a 2-inch bolt. I ended up buying a 3-inch bolt. Man, that sun glare, I can't see anything. I ended up grabbing a 3-inch bolt, and then had, because I wanted a 2.5. They didn't have a 2.5, it was 2 or 3, and we added one more thick washer in there, and it's working. So we got it tightened up in there. We put some what do you call that, thread locker, some blue thread locker on there as well, so it won't come out. And we're busy putting everything back together now. And once again, Wes fits in the hole perfectly here. So we stick him inside the engine compartment. I could almost make a seat for him. He can just sit in there when we're driving. What do you think, buddy? Would work? We've got it back on. We've got the fan back on. We've got the fan shroud back on. We're slowly putting everything back together. So with that back in, we're going to put the rad back in, get everything. The rad's the hardest part. It's a bit of a pain because of this bracket. This bracket sits on top of the radiator and holds it down, and it's a real pain to get the bolts in there hooked up. There's a very small amount of room, which once again Wes comes in handy because his little hands fit in there. Mine do not, to get those on. The other ones are easier to get at. I don't know why they bolted it that way. They should have welded the nuts on the other side so you can access it from this side, but you can't. You have to put the bolt in from the back side, which is a real pain. Once that's all together, we've got a new belt going on there. We're going to fire it up. I'm hoping the new belt took care of the squeak. We won't know, I guess, until we try it out. And what else? That's pretty well it. Oh, I'm going to hook the heat back up. This right here is a mixer valve operated on vacuum. So when you set your gauge to air conditioning, a little bit of vacuum comes and sucks this in, which then makes the hot water that comes from the engine go through here and right back out. There's another port in the back here, and dump back into the rad, rather than going through here, which is your heater box. So in here, there's a small little rad like this in here where the hot water goes through. The fan sucks the air through or blows the air through, however that works, and then it blows up into the cab and makes things warm. When you have air conditioning going though, you don't want water going through those lines, or you don't want hot water going in here. And you have another one down lower here connected to this for the air conditioning. Then the same fan would then blow cold air. The problem with this design is that they don't perfectly seal. So even when you're running the air conditioning and you're getting the cold air from here, there's still hot water going through, and so there's a little bit of warm air. So it's not as cold as it should be when it's blowing through. And so what guys recommend doing is shutting them off here with the valve. Now, the way I did it, I only have one valve. I really should have two, so that the water can still circulate. The way I done it, the water wouldn't be circulating anymore. And out of concern for having a hot spot somewhere, what I ended up doing is just removing the hoses altogether. And so now it's going from the water pump straight into the rad. There's no hot spots anywhere. Everything's circulating properly. We're getting closer in the winter though, so I'm going to hook this back up, open this up, so we will have hot water going through here. We're getting to that time of year where a little bit of heat blowing on the dash is going to be nice, and yeah, and not going to make us uncomfortable. We're past that, you know, excruciating heat of summer. Well, unless we go back to Arizona, I guess it might still be hot down there, but even there, I think it's cooled down a bit. So then we should be good to go. We're going to do visit a few people here in the area yet. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. That's probably about it right now. I did buy a cargo, what do you want to call it, carrier for the back. It's going to hook onto the trailer hitch at the back, so we can put our generator on it and run it without problems while we're driving. And I'll probably put a jerry can of gas or something back there as well. I think that's it. Everything else is pretty all ready to go, and then we'll probably hit the road again. Well, since we tell you about everything else, I might as well tell you about this. We put a brand new belt on this thing because the old one was squeaking. All of a sudden I hear a clangety 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 clang. What is going on? I pulled over and climbed underneath, and that belt's coming apart. So this came off my new belt. So we're about 20 minutes away from my in-laws. I'm hoping we're going to make it that far before the whole belt comes apart. With any luck, that'll be good. And then I guess we're going to have to order another belt. I don't know. I mean, things like that can happen. It's just a little frustrating. Hopefully there's no particular reason why it happened. Shouldn't be, but you never know, I guess. What do you need proof? Nice little campfire. Well, everybody, we have had a great weekend. The whole family. Our oldest boy was down as well from his place, so we all spent the weekend together here. It's not Thanksgiving. Next weekend will be Thanksgiving for us, but it worked this weekend to get together, so it was really nice. He's heading back home again now this evening, and we didn't do much on the motorhome in the meantime because we've just been visiting and stuff. We are starting on it now. The harmonic balancer, it appears I don't think it came loose. It's hard to tell yet at this point because we can't get at the bolt, but I don't think it's come loose. I think we just never had it on far enough. That's our guess. And therefore the pulleys weren't lined up properly and we wrecked that new belt. So we're gonna take these rads out again, and then we're going to put the harmonic balancer on all the way. Once the rads are out, we'll be able to double check the bolt and make sure that it didn't actually slip loose, because that was one of my concerns, is that bolt had come loose and the harmonic balancer was working its way out. But in looking underneath there, I don't think that's the case. Neither does Wes. We're thinking we just didn't have it on far enough. We'll put it back together. We're going to order a new belt. We'll get that put on, and then this buggy should be rolling again. Now, in the meantime, we have decided, though, we really don't need to go to the States. I mean, we want to, but we don't need to. We've seen enough, and we do really need to get across the pond. The weather's changing here. It's also changing over there. We need to find accommodations there for the winter, and you know, community where we can be in a vehicle. We're going to need clothes. You know, we're going to be coming with, we don't have that many winter clothes here. I figured I'm buying over there. I've been told by many people that it's a lot cheaper to buy things in Georgia and in Turkey than it would be here. So we're just hanging on. We're going to buy our winter clothes over there and whatever else we might need. And so a trip down to the States, as much as I really want to see the Ark, I think we're going to leave that for some other year, some other adventures, some other time. Or maybe we'll just never do it. That's okay too. And we're just going to head our way down. Or not down, sorry. We'll skip that part of the adventure. I just haven't made up my mind whether we're going to sell this thing or store it. I'm still tossed up between the two, and I'm probably going to change my mind a few more times on that. Right now I'm leaning again to just storing it, and then we have a set of wheels, and says, you know, in case we want to come back and do more adventures that way, or even like right now, just parked at my in-laws. It's great. It's a nice place for us to just have our own space and sleep. So I haven't decided yet what we're doing there, but the money that we could be saving on another trip down into the States for 2-3 weeks, we could use that money for our plane tickets to head for Georgia. We found some cheaper tickets. So I don't know, I haven't figured that part out yet, but I think we're going to forego our trip and we will make arrangements. I have called some people in Georgia, some contacts that I have, and they are currently looking for a house for us to rent. Hopefully they find something. They are actually in a village out in the country. I have multiple contacts over there. Some of them are in the city. These ones that I contacted this morning are out in the village, and that would be our preference. That's where we would prefer to be, not in the city. We're not city people, as anybody that's watched this channel knows. I'd like to have a little house in the country with a garden and some space. So yeah, I think you're up to speed. We're going to pull this apart. Wes is back. We just had a quick supper here. We're going to finish pulling this guy out. We've already got the one rad out, the fans out. We've removed the computer and the keep forgetting what that thing's called, Wes. Cruise control. The cruise control thing right here. Some of the other stuff's off, so we're just about ready to pull this bracket off the top again. It's a real pain. That's probably the worst part of this job. It's because the bolts are in here and they're really hard to get at. So Wes is going to pull them out again. We'll pull this rad forward, then we can get at what's behind it, and we will try to get that harmonic balancer pushed back on. With any luck, we'll have that back together tonight. Do not have a new belt. I do have the old belt here. We could stick it back on. It's here, and maybe we'll do that. Other than the fact that it squeaked, it was working. The new belt did not squeak, but it didn't last very long either. So we may end up putting the old belt back on, and at least it's together and it's running, and we can, you know, do some adventures. And then we're thinking about just doing some local stuff here in Ontario yet for the next couple of weeks. You know, just little adventures, day trips or whatever, rather than actually touring all the way down to the States. So I think that gets you up to speed. We will get back to work.
Okay, now hold still. You got a picture?
Out of reach for the city
I got another picture.
where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I become.
Backed up, you can just zoom in.
I've been running knees, looking for a sunset,
Going.
digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket in plain sight all along.